Alright, functions make your code cleaner and save you time. In this video, we'll look at how functions work and go over a few basic examples. Let's start by understanding what a function is. So a function is a really usable block of code that performs a specific task. It's like a rest. Once you've written it, you can follow it as many times as you need. Functions make your code organized and make it easier to read. So here is a basic syntax of function in Kotlin. So let's break it down. A function definition starts with the fun keyword. After that, we have the function name, which should be descriptive and follow the camel case convention. Next, we have a set of opening and close brackets, and then opening and close curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket is the function body, which is the code that will run when the function is called. Now that we know what a function is and its syntax, let's define one and see how to call it. To create a function, you start by the fun keyword and then the name of the function. So in this case, we are creating a function that creates. Then inside of it, I have this is a function. So you start by the fun keyword, the name of the function, the bracket, and then curly brackets. Then the body of the function will be placed here, which will execute when the function is called. So in our main function, we can now call the greet function that will bring the hello world. So let's run. So as you can see, this prints hello world onto the screen when we call the greet function in the main function. Simple, right? You can call this function whenever you want that message to be displayed or you want to greet the world. This is the power of function. They help you avoid repeating code. But what if we want to customize the greeting function? That's where parameters come in. Parameters allow you to pass data into the function so it can work with different values. The syntax looks like this. Here is how to define a function with parameters. Now, the greet function takes a name parameter, which is a string. When we call this function, we can pass any name we like. So inside the main function, we can have a greet function. As you can see, the function prints hello manually and hello then when called with different arguments. Next, let's talk about return types. Sometimes a function needs to return a value after performing its task. To do this, we specify a return type after the bracket and before the curly bracket. Here is how the syntax looks like. Let's create a function that calculates the square of a number and returns the results. In this square function, the number parameter is of type int and the function returns an int. We use the return keyword to send the result back to wherever the function was called. Notice the int after the bracket indicating the return type. So let's call this function and see. So this prints 64, which is the square of 8. So you can create a function that returns the result of its task. So first, you begin by the usual function approach. You specify the fun keyword, the name of the function, and then if it takes a parameter, you pass in that you set the parameter, and then you specify the return type. So like variable, if you want to specify a type, Kotlin, you use the colon and then after the colon you specify the type. So in this case, you specify the type by setting the colon. Remember, the type is between the bracket and then the curly brace. Notice how we store the return value in a variable. This makes the function very flexible and powerful. Sometimes you want to give a parameter a default value, so the function works even if you do not provide that argument. Now, if we call greet user without passing a name, it will use the default value there. So here we call greet user without an argument, and here the second line we call it with an argument. Let's run it. As you can see, the first one print hello there. So it uses the default value there. So you can call it without an argument. And the second one, you provide it with the argument, which is hello manually. Kotlin supports name argument, which allows you to specify which parameter you are setting, making your code more readable. So here we create a function called greet that takes in name parameter and then a message. So let's call this greet function in the main and see the way it's called. So we look for a greet name and a message. When we created a function, we specify that the first parameter that will be passed to it should be a name, and then the second one will be a message. So when you are calling the function, you have to specify it in that order. But with name argument, you can just specify the name of the parameter, which is in this case name, and then the second parameter is message. So you can actually specify this name and then set the value to it. So this helps you to interchange the order. It doesn't matter. So in this case, you can see I use the exact order. But in the second example, I did not use the exact order. I brought message first and then the name second. But if you run it, this will be sent to the name parameter you created, and then the message will also be sent to the message parameter you specified. So this is the beauty of Kotlin. This is the pain for developers. We don't have follow strict rules of passing argument function. With the help of name parameters, you can just use the name of the actual parameters and set the value. Finally, let's talk about single expression function. Kotlin allows you to write functions that consist of a single expression more concisely. This is equivalent to the square function we wrote earlier, but more concise and still retains the correct result. Kotlin automatically infers the return type. So let me run it. This is the output. The square of 5 is 25. Single expression functions are great for keeping your code clean and focused, especially for simple expressions. If you are finding these tips on Kotlin functions useful, that's just the beginning of your Kotlin journey here on my channel. So make sure to subscribe. I'll help you level up your coding skills and build amazing apps. Before we wrap up, let's go over some best practices for writing functions in Kotlin. 1. Choose names that clearly describe what the function does. 2. Each function should perform a single task. If it's doing too much, consider breaking it into smaller functions. 3. Use comments to explain complex or the purpose of the function. And last one, the more you practice defining and calling functions, the better you will become. And there you have it. We have covered how to define functions, use parameters and return types, take advantage of default and name arguments, and create single expression functions. Functions are powerful tools that will help you write better code in Kotlin.